Scene 3. The Spirit of Christmas Past. The hour is struck again by a large street clock, and the first spirit appears. It is a figure dressed to look like the little girl's doll. Scrooge. Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me? The first spirit says, I am. Scrooge. Who and what are you? The first spirit says, I am the ghost of Christmas past. Scrooge says, long past? The first spirit says, no, your past. Scrooge says, why are you here? The first spirit says, your welfare, rise, walk with me. Scrooge says, I am mortal still, I cannot pass through the air. The first spirit says, take my hand. Scrooge grasps the spirit's hand tightly, and the doll's bell rings softly. Scrooge remembers a scene from his past in which two boys greet each other in the street. First voice, hello, Jack. Second voice, Ben, Merry Christmas, Ben. Scrooge, Jack Walton, young Jack Walton, spirits? First voice, have a good holiday, Jack. Scrooge, yes, I remember him, both of them. Little Ben Benjamin, he used to... First voice, see you next term, Jack, next term. Scrooge, they're off for the holidays and going home from school. It's Christmas time. All of the children off home now. No, not at all. There was one. The spirit motions for Scrooge to turn, and he sees a young boy playing with a teddy bear and talking to it. Yes, reading. Poor boy. First spirit, what, I wonder? Scrooge, reading? Oh, it was nothing. Fancy, all fancy and make-believe, and take me away. All of it. Yes, nonsense. Child Scrooge. Ali Baba. Scrooge. Yes, that was it. Child Scrooge. Yes, and remember. Remember Robinson Crusoe? Scrooge. And the parrot. Child Scrooge. Yes, the parrot. I love him best. Scrooge, imitating the parrot. With a stripy grin body and yellow tail drooping along, and couldn't sing "Rock," but could talk, and a thing like a lettuce growing out of the top of his head, and he used to sit on the very top of the tree, up there. Child Scrooge. And Robinson Crusoe sailed around the island, and he thought he had escaped the island, and the parrot said, Scrooge, imitating the parrot, Robinson Crusoe, where have you been? Robinson Crusoe, where have you been? Child Scrooge. And Robinson Crusoe looked up in the tree and saw the parrot, and knew he hadn't escaped, and he was still there, still all alone there. Scrooge. Poor Robinson Crusoe. Child Scrooge, sadly picking up the teddy bear. Poor Robinson Crusoe. Scrooge. Poor child, poor child. First spirit, why poor? Scrooge, fancy. He tries to mask his feelings by being brusque. It's his way, a child's way to lose being alone in dreams. Never mind if they are all nonsense. Yes, nonsense. But he'll be all right. Grow out of it. Yes, he did grow out of it. All the nonsense. Became a man and left there. And he became a man. Yes, successful and rich. The sadness returns. Never matter. Fan runs in and goes to Child Scrooge. Fan, brother, dear brother. She kisses Child Scrooge. Child Scrooge. Dear Fan. Fan, I've come to bring you home for good and ever. Come with me, come now. She takes his hand and they start to run off, but the spirit stops them and signals for the light on them to fade. They look at the spirit, aware of their role in the spirit's education of Scrooge. Scrooge, let me watch them go. Let them be happy for a moment. The spirit says nothing. Scrooge turns away from them, and the light goes out. A delicate child, a breath might have withered her. The first spirit. She died a woman and had, as I remember, children. Scrooge. One child. First spirit. Your nephew? Scrooge. Yes, Fred, my nephew. Scrooge pauses and then tries to bluster through. Well, all of us have, haven't we? Childhood, sadness,
but we grow and we become men, masters of ourselves. The spirit gestures for music to begin. It is heard first as from a distance. Then Scrooge becomes aware of it. I've no time for it, spirit. Music and all of your Christmas fol-de-rol. Yes, yes, I've learned what you have to show me. Fezziwig, young Ebenezer, and Dick appear, busy preparing for a party. Fezziwig, yo-ho there, Ebenezer. Dick, Scrooge, Fezziwig, it's old Fezziwig that I prenticed under. First Spirit, your master. Scrooge, oh, I am the best that any boy could have. There's Dick Wilkins, bless me. He was very much attached to me, was Dick. Poor Dick, dear, dear. Fezziwig, yo-ho, my boys, no more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick, Christmas, Ebenezer. Let's have the shutters up before a man can say, Jack Robinson. The music continues. Chandeliers are pulled into position, and mistletoe, holly, and ivy are draped over everything by bustling servants. Dancers fill the stage for Fezziwig's wonderful Christmas party. In the midst of the dancing and the gaiety, servants pass back and forth through the crowd with huge platters of food. At a pause in the music, young Ebenezer, who is dancing, calls out, Mr. Fezziwig, sir, you're a wonderful master. Scrooge and young Ebenezer, a wonderful master. Scrooge, echoing the phrase, a wonderful master. The music changes suddenly, and the dancers jerk into distorted postures, and they begin to move in slow motion. The celebrants slowly exit, performing a macabre dance to discordant sounds. First Spirit, just because he gave a party, it was very small. Scrooge, small. First Spirit, he spent a few pounds of your mortal money, 3, 4 at the most. Is that so much that he deserves his praise? Scrooge, but it wasn't the money. He had the power to make us happy, to make our service light or burdensome. The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it costs a fortune. That's what a good master is. The First Spirit says, yes. Scrooge, no, nothing. First Spirit, something, I think. Scrooge, I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now, that's all. First Spirit, but this is all past. Your clerk, Cratchit, couldn't be here. Scrooge, no, of course not. An idle thought. Are we done? First Spirit, motioning for the waltz music to begin. Nearly. Scrooge, hearing the waltz and remembering, surely it's enough. Haven't you tormented me enough? Young Ebenezer is seen waltzing with the sweetheart. The First Spirit says, I only show the past what it promised you. Look, another promise. Scrooge, oh, yes, I had forgotten. Her. Don't they dance beautifully? So young, so young. I would have married her if only. The sweetheart says, can you love me, Ebenezer? I bring no dowry to my marriage, only me, only love. It is no currency that you can buy and sell with, but we can live with it, can you? She pauses, and then returns the ring Scrooge gave her as his pledge. I release you, Ebenezer, for the love of the man you once were. Will that man win me again now that he is free? Scrooge, trying to speak to her, if only you had held me to it. You should not have let me go. I was young. I did love you. The sweetheart, speaking again to the young Ebenezer. We have never lied to one another. May you be happy in the life you have chosen. Goodbye. She runs out. Young Ebenezer slowly leaves. Scrooge, no, it was not meant that way. The First Spirit says, you cannot change now what you could not change then. I am your mistakes, Ebenezer Scrooge, all the things you could have done and did not. Scrooge, then leave me. I have done them. I shall live with them as I have, as I do, as I will. The First Spirit says, there is another Christmas, 7 years ago when Marley died. Scrooge, no, I will not see it. I will not. He died. I could not prevent it. I did not choose for him to die on Christmas Day. first spirit says. And when his day was chosen, what did you do then? Scrooge, I looked after his affairs. The first spirit said, his business. Scrooge says, yes, his business, mine. It was all I had, all that I could do in this world. I have nothing to do with the world to come after. The first spirit says, then I will leave you. Scrooge, not yet. Don't leave me here. Tell me what I must do. What of the other spirits? The first spirit says they will come. Scrooge, and you? What of you? The first spirit says, I am always with you. The little girl appears with her doll. She takes Scrooge's hand and gently leads him to bed. Numbed, he follows her. She leans against the foot of the bed, ringing the doll and singing. The first spirit exits as she sings. When you wake, you shall have all the pretty little horses, blacks and bays, dapples and grays, all the pretty little horses. She rings the doll, and the ringing becomes the chiming of Scrooge's bell. The girl exits. Scrooge sits upright in his bed as he hears the chimes. Scrooge, a minute till 1. No one here. No one's coming. A large clock strikes 1. Bong!